Hello everyone, I'm Finn and welcome to my journey towards a life closer to boat building and sailing. So in this episode it's time to make a start on getting the first fix of all of the main electrical components installed down into the boat. But before we do that, it's time to fit the prop shaft coupling, the prop shaft and the deep sea seal. So let's get to it. The next couple of jobs to get completed down in the engine bay are to connect the prop shaft up to the engine. Now in order to do this, I've got to fit the new prop shaft coupling. This is attached straight onto the back of the gearbox and it's a split coupling, so the prop shaft fits into the centre of this and then the two bolts either side get clamping down onto the prop shaft, gripping it nice and tight. So once I've got that installed, I can then slide the prop shaft through the stern tube. Once that's in place, I can then get the deep sea seal fitted. Now this is a Maincraft deep sea seal, and one part gets clamped onto the stern tube that comes through the stern post on the boat, and then the other part, which is this section, gets clamped onto the prop shaft itself. And there's a neat little tool inside to get the correct pressure on compressing these two parts together, which creates the seal from the stern tube around the prop shaft. So first up, let's get this coupling fitted onto the back of the gearbox. So there was already fitted to the aft end of the gearbox here this Teflon coupling, and that's bolted nice and securely on to the mounting on the back of the gearbox, and it's already got the bolts through to take the coupling on. So all I've got to do is locate this into position, get the bolts on and pinch it up nice and tight, and then that's set ready for fitting the prop shaft and the deep sea seal. So let's get this on here. This isn't the most comfiest position I've been in working on the boat. I hope I don't have to do this too many times. Don't know if you can see, but this aft section of the deep sea seal, there's a rubber collar here inside this part of the pipe. So that sits against the end of the stern tube here, and then you've just got the two Jubilee clips that are there to be fastened down, and the third is just in case of emergency, and it's got this emergency tag on it that if you find you've got lots of water coming in through this seal, the idea is to tear the tag off, and this third Jubilee clip is for the larger section of rubber that's on the inside here that is closer to the diameter of the prop shaft. So I guess if this is leaking and you clamp down on that third emergency Jubilee clip, that then squeezes the rubber down onto the prop shaft, which means it's not going to be able to turn, but it is going to stop water from leaking into the boat. So hopefully that never has to get used. I'm just going to try and twist myself enough. Let's see if we can. There goes the camera. Just really sit there. So I've just made sure that my Jubilee clips are facing opposite each other. And that way, I know that the pressure is spread even around the pipe here. So that section fitted. So now let's slide the prop shaft in. So with a big thanks to my friend Ash, who's local to the boatyard here. He came in last week and made a start on getting all of the components fitted into the boat that are going to be used for running the electrical systems. So on the wall we've got our DC to DC chargers, which are the chargers that are, when the engine's running, they take a current from the battery and charge the house battery bank. We've got our isolation switches and our buzz bars and all of the relevant little gadgets that go with the Victron inverter that we've got for the boat. That hasn't actually been fitted yet, as it's going to be installed in this starboard side pilot berth here on the reverse side of this bulkhead. But that's not going to be able to get fitted until this starboard side fuel tank is made and fitted down here underneath the pilot berth. So I've already made the templates for that, which you'll see in a later video, and that's already with Uplands, who made the water tanks for the boat. And I did make a call at the end of last week to see if we can make a start on getting those fuel tanks made, so we can get this one installed sooner, so I'm able to then get the inverter fitted and get hopefully all of these systems up and running.
lay down on the bench here. I'm going to use the bench to make the framework base that is going to be used to keep the batteries from sliding about on their shelf. Now I'm doing it down here on the bench purely just so I don't have to go in and out of the boat so many times, climbing down into the engine bay, down beside the engine to be able to reach the shelf where the batteries are going to be kept. So it's just going to make the job much easier to be able to sit them down here on the bench, lay them all out with the correct space in between them to allow for airflow, and then I can one by one fit these battens down onto the bench, get in all the mitered corners cut, and get the battens between the 3 batteries fitted, making sure that it's all nice and square and fits together nicely, and then I can take it back up into the boat and I can fit it all together down onto the battery shelf. So I just want to say a massive thanks to Ash for spending the last few days working here in the boat, connecting up some of these main components for the house electrical system. So what we've got here are some of the main components that are going to be used to charge up the battery bank and to run the inverter and some of the other appliances that are going to be used in the boat. So what we've got up on this starboard side bulkhead opposite me here are the 2 DC to DC chargers that are going to be used to charge the house battery bank from the alternator when the engine is running. Below that we have one of the isolation switches. Now this one here is going to be used for turning on and off the inverter. And beside that we've got 2 more isolation switches, one for the main house battery bank and another one for the back-to-back chargers. And above them we've got the positive and negative buzz bars and all of the relevant fuses to go with some of these appliances. We've got our battery to system 500 amp shunt, and up here we've got our Victron battery protector. So far we've got all of the wiring run back into the house battery shelf, but we haven't made any of the connections to the batteries yet, as the inverter hasn't been fitted or the 12 volt fuse panel or any of the consumer units haven't been fitted yet. So rather than making the whole system live, we're going to leave all of these connections off until we have some of the rest of the components fitted into the boat. So I just want to talk a little bit about the batteries that we've got here in the boat. Now behind me we have got 3 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries. Now back in September last year I took a trip down to the Southampton Boat Show to meet up with a couple of vendors and discuss purchasing some of the main components that I need to have fitted into the boat. So one of the guys I met at Southampton Boat Show was a chap named Patrick who worked for a company called Ultramax. Now Ultramax are one of the UK's leading manufacturers of lithium iron phosphate batteries. Now these are the Life PO4 batteries, which are said to be some of the safest lithium batteries on the market. And after a very long conversation with Patrick at the boat show, we came up with an agreement that they were happy to donate 50% of the battery bank to the project, and I would pay for the remaining 50%. So thank you, Ultramax, for your very generous offer. Not only that, they've also given me a discount code for any of you guys that are in need of purchasing some batteries. I'll include the links to their website in the description below the video, so if you want to follow the link to their website and have a read, and if there's something that you fancy buying for your boat or van or house, then do give them a look up and have a good read, and if you want to buy some, then be sure to use the discount code that's provided. So thanks again, Ultramax. I'm really happy to have these batteries in the boat, and I'm really looking forward to getting them connected up and making use of this system. But that's about all I've got time for in this video, so if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell beside it to get notified of my next release. Now, I just want to say a massive thanks to all of you guys that are following the project, and to all of you guys that have shown so much support throughout my journey. Your generosity and kind words really are overwhelming, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Now, if there's any of you that feel you would like to support the project, then I'll include all of the relevant links to do so in the description below this video. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.